This is a lot heavier than it looks. My name is Paul Zamoyda. I'm not originally from Big Bear. I was born in New York, went to school in New York, attended grad school at San Diego State University and got my teaching credential there. I came to Big Bear when I met someone playing volleyball on the beach who worked at the adaptive ski program at Bear Mountain, and got wrapped into coming up here to be a ski instructor for people with disabilities. And once I found Big Bear, I really didn't leave. I worked up here seasonally for 3 years before I joined the Bear Valley School District as a teacher. I taught in the primary grades, teaching first grade, taught intermediate grades, teaching sixth grade, and then had the pleasure of teaching middle school students my last 3 years teaching here in the school district. In 2005, I left teaching and went into the real estate profession. Great timing there. But I've always been a huge advocate for kids, a huge advocate for public education. I come from a family of educators. My mom was a lifetime elementary school teacher. My dad was a college professor for almost 40 years, and it's just something that I think is in my blood. I'm also an incumbent. I ran for school board 4 years ago, and I'm back for more. Some people ask me why, and it's a difficult question to answer, but I still keep coming back to, with all the trials and tribulations over the last few years, that if you really are sincere about advocating for kids, you don't jump ship at the most desperate of times. So I'm glad to be running again. I hope that people recognize the difficulties the board has had over the last few years, and I hope that you respect the fact that the incumbents have had the courage to come back for more. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul. My name is Joseph Kelly, and I'm running for school board. In fact, I'm running for 5 different seats here in the Valley, and I just got my campaign buttons ordered because I'm running for 5 seats. They're kind of large. In fact, I can only afford one, but it can be seen from outer space. So that's me, Joseph Kelly. And that's on the serious side. The school board does face some serious issues, financial issues mostly. California economy is down quite a bit. As we all know, the entire national economy is down. 3.4 million people have moved out of California since 1990. People are fleeing the state. They're taking their businesses with them, and their consumer spending with them, and their tax dollars with them. And this has resulted in about $30 billion less revenue to the state of California. And a lot of that is because of higher taxes in California. It's one of the 2 highest taxing states in the country. And there's also a lot of onerous regulations that businesses have to put up with. And I think if we keep raising taxes, we're going to kill the goose that laid the golden egg here in the Golden State. Those people that have left, they've left for states like Arizona and Texas and Georgia, where taxes are lower and regulations are easier and more pro-business. We need to encourage business, and I'm a low-tax advocate. Thank you.
This is heavy. When do I start? Now. My name is Beverly Grabe, and I'd like to thank the Lighthouse Project and the Chamber for inviting us here this evening. It's a real honor to be here. Thank you. I've been in Bear Valley since 1978. Moved up here when my children were, well, my oldest child was going to start school at 5, and we came here because we wanted our kids to go to a school district that we know we would be proud of. And so we moved here. They both went through all the way through high school and then went on to college and are very successful today, and that is due to this wonderful environment that we live in. It has been an honor to serve you for the past 4 years as a board member for the Bear Valley Unified School District. I began this position with enthusiasm and a desire to provide the very best for the students of our valley. I end my term with the same enthusiasm and desire. The journey as trustee, however, has been a very difficult one. The budget cuts to education from the state of California have negatively impacted Bear Valley Unified. The Board of Trustees has had to make some really wrenching decisions in order to keep the school solvent. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about the woes of education which have come about because of the state's huge budget crisis. However, this is a reality. It has put us in a dangerous place. Because of good management and budget cuts, we have had reserves to keep on going. But that money will run out soon. It is my belief that the 3 board members seated here, my definite belief, have an obligation to you, our students and the staff, to see this through. Over the last 4 years, we've learned that the job of trustee is very, very difficult, and we learned how to work together, respect each other, and learn from each other. One of the things we have learned together is that now is a time to think of ways to do things differently that will have a positive long-term effect on our children of this valley and as their future. That was good.
Hi, everyone. I'm Randy Putz, and I've lived in the Valley about 10 years, and my day job is website development, and you were kind enough to elect me to the board 4 years ago. And it, as both Bev and Paul alluded to, it's been a very interesting, very challenging 4 years, and it's been an interesting decision to decide whether or not to run again. But I have decided to run again really for 2 reasons. And the main one is that I really think that education is one of the most important things that we do. And I'm not pleased with the state's strategy of balancing the budget and putting the state's financial problems on the backs of our children. And I want to keep fighting for our children. The other reason is that my own 2 children have gone through the district, and I personally had a great experience with that, and I want to give back and help support that. We have a great district here. We have great people that work in our district, and frankly, it's been a pleasure to help support that over the last 4 years, and I hope that I can keep doing that. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Roberta Hardy. I am originally from the Los Angeles area. I moved here in 2004 permanently, and soon after followed my children, came up here, and my grandchildren. I have been involved in, of course, I'm a California resident, so I went to our schools my whole life. I went to Fullerton College and went to La Mirada High School. I was around when Prop 13 came around, and my children really suffered during that time because of all the schools closing. I've always been very concerned about our schools. I moved to Big Bear and brought my children up here again so that they could have a better life and a better education. I've been involved in both the private and public sectors of school. I'm not an educator. I am not a politician. I am a mother and a grandmother. I have been a business owner, and I really have a heart for our children that none of them will be left behind. I'm asking, well, I'm kind of nervous, you guys. I'm not used to doing this, so like I said, I'm not a politician, but I am a parent, and I know that as a parent, I would like to be elected to the school board to give a fresh, new voice and a different way of thinking as a parent and not just an educator. I believe that business as usual cannot go on. I think that they do a wonderful job. I am not criticizing our school board whatsoever. I just believe that we do need some changes and to make everybody accountable. I am running because I want all children to succeed in their life. Really? Wow. And thank you.
Thank you, Roberta. We'll start the question period now. How this is going to work, the first question will go to Paul, and then each of you will have a chance to answer it. The second question will start with Joseph and go around. So each of you will have a chance to answer also be helpful, you may wonder why. It's difficult at times on the radio to tell who's speaking, so when you get ready to answer a question, if you could just say, "I'm Paul," that will remind the radio audience, because it's sometimes difficult. So Paul, the first question for you is, each candidate has been provided with a California Code of Fair Campaign Practices statement for the candidate to voluntarily sign. This statement says that you will conduct yourself and your campaign in an honest manner without negative attacks on any candidate. Have you signed the statement? If not, will you sign it now? And if not, why not?
This is Paul Zamoyda. Yes, I signed the statement. That was easy.
This is Joseph Kelly. Yes, I did sign the statement, and it follows what I believe in a good, clean campaign and a vigorous campaign. It also calls for a vigorous campaign and open and fair, and I support it.
This is Beverly Grabe, and I did sign that agreement.
This is Randy, and I too signed that agreement.
This is Roberta Hardy, and I too signed it.
Thank you very much. Once again, if you have questions and you have cards, just hold them up. They'll come and pick those up, so as we move along, don't forget about that. Brent will ask the second question.
Yeah, Paul got off easy on that one.
Thank you.
Okay, Joseph, how much has the state of California reduced the school district's budget? One question. If elected, what would you do as a board member to help solve the school's budget crisis? Second kind of two-part question.
Thank you. From the budgets that are presented that are on the website of the school district, we can see that the cuts are significant. I don't have the number off the top of my head. It's right here. But as to the future, the money is simply not there. The Measure M tax did not pass, and the people have spoken on that. The money is simply not there. There are cuts that have to be made. They're not pleasant cuts. Staff, in my talks with them, I think they said 86% of the budget is personnel costs. That's a big, any solution has to address that, and it's not pleasant. These are teachers that live and work in the community, other people living and working for the district, and this affects the classrooms and the students and the parents. And it's not pleasant, but if the money is not there, that's what has to happen, because so much of the budget is in personnel costs. And some of the staff has put forth ideas, the main idea that everybody's going to have to take some kind of a cut. And that's basically what has to happen.
This is Bev Grabe again. If my memory serves me correctly, we used to be around a $27 million budget, and now we're around a 19. Don't hold me to that. I'm just trying to remember exactly. So $8 million. And and also we used to have about 150 teachers, and we have around 100 now. So we have made budget cuts over the last 4 years that have been extremely heart-wrenching, and didn't like any of them, but had to make those decisions. What I will do, and what the board has already started to save money, and these are recommendations from our administrative staff, and they were good recommendations and are good recommendations. Number one, we hired a school attendance safety officer, because we felt that if we had this person who was out there working on attendance and getting kids in school, that we would raise our ADA, our percentage of ADA, and she has been extremely successful in the last year. She, in fact, has raised our percentage of ADA at all the school sites and has saved us about $500,000 a year. That's a long-term savings if you continue that kind of work. Grants. Our head of transportation has written grants because the government told us we needed new buses. We don't have any money. So she went out and she wrote grants. And we have one CNG bus right now that costs us absolutely nothing. And how that helps us, that's it? Holy cow, I only was just getting started. Time flies. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you hear Tanya do that, you can kind of just wrap up.
Would you mind repeating the question again for those of us at the end?
How much has the state of California reduced the school district's budget, question one? And if elected, what would you do as a board member to help solve the school's budget crisis?
Thank you. So it's been reduced by millions of dollars. Exactly how much would depend on what point you pick in time, because if you know anything about school finance, it's a very, very fluid happening, and the dollar amounts that come in and go out vary wildly, and unfortunately that's put even more stress and strain on people like Walter in the district office that have to deal with that. My understanding is it's not like it was many years ago. As far as what you do about that, I think you continue to do what we have been doing. You keep cuts as far away as you can from children in the classroom, and you look to make sure you're getting all the efficiencies that you can and that you're maximizing everything that you can. You look for additional sources for income. You look for collaboration. The district has been very fortunate to have some great community support. And then you look for ways to do things differently. But that is tricky because education in California is rife with rules and laws that sometimes make that very difficult.
Thank you. This is Roberta Hardy, and as we all agree, it has been cut too much, millions of dollars, and our classrooms are suffering. We have oversized classrooms, not enough teachers, and we all know that this is a reality and the problem that's going on in our school district and many school districts. If I am elected, I would work together with the school board to start being creative, not that they're not creative, but creative from a parent's point of view. Look at the budgets, find common sense, fine-tooth comb what's going on, see where we can save, see how we can get more grants, and just be more creative in doing that. Thank you.
Be kind. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's,
Sorry, Paul.
we're going to forget.
Hi, this is Paul Zamoyda. Going last, I have some thoughts on what some of the other people said, and I'll piggyback on some of them. I think what Bev was in the middle of saying is that our transportation department has written grants to the tune of $2 million to help us purchase some CNG buses that work on compressed natural gas. It's startling to find out that you can purchase it with certain grant monies for as low as 47 cents a gallon, and you get twice the mileage out of it. So that's a huge cost saver. The district is also currently looking at, you probably read in the Grizzly about the Siemens program. And part of their program is that they go through our schools, find ways in which we can save on our energy costs. They also look at our schools and look into the possibility of putting in solar facilities. They put it in entirely at their own cost and sell it back to us at about half the rate of what Bear Valley Electric would sell it to us for. Of course, they have an advantage in that they get some tax credits for it, which are valuable to them, and they also do make some money off the energy. Ultimately, it would be great if we could be in control of that facility and get 100% of the profit, but we would need probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 to $7 million to purchase that, and that's not a reality right now. Still, that should bring savings of about $200,000 a year potentially in the first year of that program. But I think, unfortunately, what Joseph said is correct. When teachers' salaries make up such a large part of the budget, we're getting to the point where I think that although our employees have already rolled back their salaries via furlough days this year, there'll be more later.
You have to say something, too.
The next question will begin with Bev.